Yesterday in Chicago, 4 young adults who are black kidnapped and tortured a special needs man who is white. I'm sure you can see the conundrum we're in. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Izzy and this is the Izzy and Nobody Show. The horrible events that happened in Chicago yesterday started, once again, a timeless debate. Can a white person be victim of racism? Well, yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to elaborate a little bit more than that. And before we get started, let me throw this out there. I feel like these videos always need this disclaimer. I'm like fixing the lights halfway into the shoot. Professionalism! Okay, before we get started, let's just throw a few things out there. I'm not all lives matter, I'm not alt-right, I'm not a reactionary, I'm not... Like I've mentioned on my channel here before, I've always had more of a liberal lean. If anything, I don't take sides, and the reason I don't take sides is because when you do that, you end up having to defend a lot of things you didn't say, positions that aren't yours, things you didn't do. Fuck that noise. I don't want any of this baggage. I speak for myself, and I want to be judged only on the things that I said and the things that I did. This is why I'm not a big fan of jumping into a group or labeling myself with anything. I want to be responsible, and I want to answer to the things that I said and not to the things that the group that I identify with said. Does that make any sense to you? So the situation was this. These 4 people, these 4 black people, kidnapped and tortured a white special needs man, and it's really tough footage to watch. To be totally honest with you, I was not able to watch the whole thing. If you want to see true evil, that is it right there. These guys right here. And it's really fucked because, of course, when something like this happened, 4 black people beating up, cutting, forcing this white guy to drink toilet water, it's revolting. But, of course, there's some people who need to jump in and say, well, but that's not really racism because white people can be victims of oppression. White people cannot experience racism. You can't be racist against white people because racism, they say, it's prejudice plus power, plus structural power, they say. And whites have all the power, they say. Therefore, this is not that bad. I guess that's the point they're trying to get to. Not racism bad, at least. And that's when you know you have to drop a certain ideology. When that ideology is saying, yes, they beat up that guy, and yes, they were saying fuck white people as they did it, but that's not racism. Beating up somebody because of the color of their skin, or at the very least, saying fuck the people that have the same color as you, we have to be able to call this kind of ideology, this kind of philosophy out. Yes, black people have been historically oppressed and disenfranchised. This is undisputed. This is a historical fact. However, I don't think that we're gonna reach equality by turning a blind eye to when that kind of oppression, when that kind of fucked up shit happens in the different direction. Like, we just have to let that slide because that's equality? Maybe this is just me. But this whole, oh, but he started argument, it works fine for the playground, maybe not so much for the real world. It's really fucked up that there's this whole zeitgeist in place right now, that if I say, well, you know what, maybe we should not kidnap, torture, beat up people based on the color of their skin, based on their ethnicity, maybe we shouldn't do that. And then some people supposedly fighting for equality and for justice will say, well, yes, but were they white? Because if they were, you know, it's not, it's bad, I'll give you that, I guess, but it's not racism bad. Maybe I'm just exaggerating, but I can't shake the feeling that this kind of behavior is a byproduct of the normalization of hatred, of condescension towards white people. The you can't be racist against white people mentality. Normalizing hate because you're doing it to the right targets can't be a good thing. And before you say I'm a privileged white man because of that, I don't know what lack of opportunities, injustice, oppression, disenfranchisement feels like. Eu sou imigrante latino e eu nasci em dos estados mais pobres do meu país. Eu cheguei nessa porra desse país sem nada. Você não tem a menor noção do que é falta de oportunidade. To be fair, calling this BLM kidnapping strikes me as disingenuous. This really has no connection with BLM. And I get that I just made the argument that normalizing hate against a group of people is not a good idea and could even lead to situations like this. I think this is a fair assessment, but there's a difference between saying, hey, let's not say it's okay to hate on people because they're the right target. There's a difference between doing that and saying, those guys right there, they did it. They did this. I think that's a little unfair. It's not really a BLM kidnapping. To me, this is how it boils down. Imagine if a dude does something horrible to a girl, and then internet feminists start calling this gamer rape. Why? Because gamers are misogynistic and toxic, and well, they did it. They did this. Because they're like this, because they espouse these types of views, they did this. Do you think that would be fair? Do you think that would be fair if mainstream media was going around calling like, oh, this guy kidnapped this woman and beat her up. Oh, it's gamer rape because gamers are like that. Gamers espouse this. Gamers criticize women on the internet. How fair would you think that would be? So let's settle down a little bit. It's not really BLM kidnapping. And I understand a lot of people are doing this just to grab the headlines. I know that it draws a lot of attention, controversy and all that, associating BLM, Black Lives Matter with this hideous thing that happened. You can criticize BLM, what they stand for, their methods, their message. It's open season on ideas and ideologies. That's fine. But going as far as pointing the finger to a specific group and saying, you directly did this, just doesn't jive well with me. That doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem accurate, if anything. If you read BLM kidnapping, I think most people would just assume like a chapter of Black Lives Matter did this for political reasons, and you're misleading people. That's what I'm saying. You're misleading people. BLM didn't do this. At least as far as we know so far. But this is how I feel about this. Needless to say, because these people who did this are fucking idiots who live streamed the whole thing, you know, maybe we should even thank them. Because while this made for horrific footage, they made absolutely sure they're not walking away from this one. The full extent of the law is gonna penetrate their ass like, bah! This is how I feel about this, but I'm an idiot and I've been wrong in the past. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Nobry, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever the fuck you guys are doing these days. I don't even get Snapchat. Maybe I'm too old. But that's all the time I have for today. I'm Izzy and I'm done. The fuck? What the fuck? Oh boy, I can't wait to read the comments on this one.